Bum-ba-da-dum. Banjo Ben here, fixing to teach y'all some great D rhythm licks. We're calling it Bag of Licks, D rhythm. I've done this in the key of G. I've done it in the key of C. It's time to do it in D. We're going to learn 8 killer rhythm licks that we can use whenever we're playing rhythm in the key of D. Not in drop D, although it would work for that. We may talk about that. But it's more than just 8 licks. It's also all the variations that we can get. So these 8 licks are really highlighting some foundational approaches to playing rhythm licks. And then there's literally dozens of variations that we can make off of each one. So this is a big old huge lesson. If you're watching here at the website as a Gold Pit member, all you got to do is scroll down and download the tabs, and you can also play with the rhythm tracks that I give you, play along with that Wildwood Flower. If you're watching somewhere else, you need to be a Gold Peak member. I've got hundreds of licks, hundreds of lessons. All that I'm missing is you. Let's learn some D licks for rhythm guitar. We're going to learn 8 different D rhythm licks, but we're going to learn variations for each one because each one kind of teaches us a lesson about theory that we're going to be able to take and apply to all kinds of different licks. But these licks primarily are going to be used whenever we're coming back to a D chord. They could be, if you're in a different key and you're going to a D chord, you could use these. But these are, the example is based out of the key of D, coming back from an A chord or a G chord back to this D chord, and you're wanting to fill in some of the space. Now we need to think about where's that D note at? Well, our main D note that we're talking about is on this open 4th string, right? So we're always kind of working our way either back up to that D string or we're working our way down to that D string. And the most simple way to do that, before we look at any tab, is to use the major scale to either walk up to it or walk back down. So when we think about our D note there and we think about the major scale that's climbing up to it, it's really easy just to use an open A string to walk up to that D note. Or if we want to start on the string above it, we can walk back down using the D scale. So you can always have some great rhythm walks and licks just by using the major scale. And I have a whole lesson on that called major scale rhythm walks that you need to go watch. Now what we're going to take is some of that theory and just introduce some twists and turns. And that's what we're going to see here with lick number 1. It sounds like this. Again, lick 1. Okay, so most of these, or a lot of these licks are going to have kind of a bass strum to get us started. 1, 2, and then what we're doing is we're going to go down to that A string and we're going to play that scale, but we're not going to play it straight up like we could. We're going to turn into 8th notes. We're going to play up the scale, then come up above the D note, grab that 2nd fret, and then land on the D note. Now, there's lots of variations that we can do there. We don't have to play those particular notes. If we wanted to make it more bluesy, we could do that really easy by introducing the 3rd fret instead of the 2nd fret. So it would sound like this. You hear the difference? Or we could keep the 2nd fret, then play the 3rd fret instead of the 4th fret. It would sound like this. That sounds pretty cool. And you can even hear how those different note selections have a little bit different emotion, a little bit different attitude that we can use to our advantage. Okay, more about that particular lick in a bit. We're going to mess with the timing in lick number 3. But on to lick number 2. This one's great. It's a standard. You've probably heard it before. It sounds like this. Right? Okay. So what I've done here, and this is something we need to be able to do in every key, I've taken that Lester flat G run, or a variation of it, and we've just applied it to the key of G. So we're used to hearing this. All we're doing is doing that in the key of D. Same theories involved, same intervals, we just have different starting notes. So we're going to start on our D string, then we're going to jump down to our low E string, slide up to the 2nd fret. Sounds like this, nice and slow. Practice that with me. Again. that's one that we can play really fast. There's not a whole lot of work that's happening, but we get a lot of notes out of that. Now, what kind of variations might we be able to do with that? Oh, goodness. Just like there's all those variations with the G licks, and you can go and watch my lessons on that because I show licks. I mean, we can come up with a dozen variations really quick. Every one of these can be applied into any key. So when you start doing that, you can... we could just sit there and come up with more and more and more. And that's a good exercise to think about licks that you would normally play in one key or one position, rhythm or lead, and figure out how to do that in other keys. So that's the encouragement there with lick number 2. Once again, lick number 1 sounds like this. Ready? Play with me. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, let's play lick number 2. Here we go. All right, so in our next video segment, we're going to learn licks 3 and 4. Then we'll do 5, 6, 7, and 8, talk about all the variations and how we can use them. And then we'll all play them slowly together. It'll be great. If you're a Gold Pick member, you've got that to look forward to. If you're not a Gold Pick member, you can still look forward to it. You just need to be a Gold Pick member. So I'll see you over at banjobenclark.com. Let's play some more D rhythm licks.